400 years ago, on the edge of a vast and unfamiliar continent, people lived ordinary lives. They cooked meals. They raised children. They planned for tomorrow. And then they were gone. Not one family, not a group of soldiers. An entire colony. Men, women, children, no bodies, no ruins burned by war, no final letter, just silence. And a single word carved into wood. This is the story of Roanoke, America's oldest unsolved mystery. And the reason it still disturbs historians is not because we lack theories, but because none of them truly explain how so many people disappeared without leaving a trace. In the late 16th century, England was desperate. Spain dominated the New World. France was expanding. And England feared being left behind forever. So, in 1587, more than 100 English settlers arrived on a small island off the coast of what is now North Carolina. This was not a military expedition. These were families. They brought tools, they brought seeds, they brought hope. Among them was a newborn girl, Virginia Dare, the first English child born in North America. This colony was meant to survive. It was meant to grow. But survival in the New World was never guaranteed. Food was limited. The environment was hostile. Relations with nearby tribes were uncertain. So the colony's governor, John White, made a decision that would change everything. He returned to England to gather supplies. He promised to come back quickly, but history intervened. England went to war with Spain. Ships were seized. Sailors were drafted. John White was delayed, not for months but for years. When he finally returned in 1590, what he found made no sense. The settlement was empty. Houses were still standing, tools were still there. There were no signs of battle, no blood, no graves, no evidence of panic. The colonists had not fled suddenly. They had. Deliberately, on a wooden post, a single word was carved, CROATOAN, and nearby 3 letters etched into a tree, CRO. This was not a cry for help. It was a message, but a message no one could decode. Croatoan was the name of a nearby island. It was also the name of a local Native American tribe. John White searched for the settlers. He found nothing. No bodies, no survivors, no answers. And so began a mystery that has lasted more than 4 centuries. Historians have proposed many explanations. One theory suggests the settlers joined the Croatoan tribe, that they abandoned English identity to survive. It sounds reasonable, but there is a problem. If this happened, where is the evidence? No mixed settlements, no clear cultural blending, no definitive records. Another theory suggests violence, that the settlers were attacked. But again, there are no signs of battle, no burned homes, no mass graves. Everything was orderly, which is disturbing. Some believe the settlers moved inland, searching for better land, fresh water, safety. But if they did, why were they never found? Over 100 people do not vanish quietly, especially in unfamiliar terrain. Another theory suggests violence, that the settlers were attacked. But again, there are no signs of battle, no burned homes, no mass graves. Everything was orderly, which is disturbing. Some believe the settlers moved inland, searching for better land, fresh water, safety. But if they did, why were they never found? Over 100 people do not vanish quietly, especially in unfamiliar territory. Archaeology has searched for answers. Artifacts have been discovered, European tools, fragments of pottery, but nothing conclusive. No final location, no definitive proof, only fragments, which raises an uncomfortable truth. Early American history is incomplete. We like to believe settlement led naturally to success. Roanoke reminds us that the New World was dangerous, unpredictable, and unforgiving. What makes this story so powerful is not the mystery itself, but the silence that followed. No diary, no final letter, no explanation. Just a word carved into wood. Croatoan. Even today, no single theory explains everything. Assimilation explains survival but not disappearance. Violence explains disappearance but not order. Migration explains movement but not silence. Perhaps the truth is that the colony did not end in one moment. Perhaps it faded slowly, until history forgot it ever existed. And that may be the most terrifying possibility of all. Not that they died, but that they were erased. If an entire community can vanish from history, violence explains disappearance but not order. Migration explains movement but not silence. Perhaps the truth is that the colony did not end in one moment. Perhaps it faded slowly, until history forgot it ever existed. And that may be the most terrifying possibility of all. Not that they died, but that they were erased. If an entire community can vanish from history, what else have we lost? What other stories were never written? What other truths were never recorded? In the next episode, we uncover another event that history never fully explained. Because the past is not empty, it is incomplete. And sometimes, what we don't know is more powerful than what we do. This is Hidden Past.